Hello everyone, and today we are testing out something a little bit different. So this is Vampire Survival, or Survivors, I guess. Vampire Survivors. And yeah, I've been playing this game more or less every day now. I think I clocked in about 10 to 12 hours at this point, and I'm having a lot of fun. This really brings me back to my childhood days playing old arcade games and similar things on my earlier compact computer, for example. So yeah, I really do hope that you have as much of a blast to the past as I did with this game. And if you're interested, it's available on Steam, of course. I might drop a link down below if I can remember. Otherwise, just look up Vampire Survivors. Let's get into it, and I'll show you a little bit what it's about. So we have, at the moment, 8 different characters. I seem to be unlocking characters every now and then. I'm not sure if I now have managed to unlock all of them. It's very much possible, but I can't really promise anything. The game is still in early access. There's very limited information about it at the moment. But yeah, it's been a blast so far. So there's a few different characters. Main difference in between them is, first off, all characters have kind of a perk, or what you want to call it. So Antonio, for example, deals extra damage. Imelda gains experience faster, gets more projectiles, or makes projectiles go faster every 5 levels, and so on. Usually these are related to a level, or they are a permanent 30% area damage. So we can play Porta today. So Porta has one of the more interesting abilities to me. It is more or less a Thunderstrike that she continuously casts. You will see when we get into the game here that none of this is me controlling. The whole game is more or less played just by you moving around. So there is no active abilities or anything like that. It's just you more or less positioning in a way that is as efficient as possible. And every now and then you manage to level up like this and you get a new ability. So I will pick the magic wand, and you can see that I am now also shooting magic missiles, I guess, maybe it would be. And yeah, of course in the early game it's gonna be really simple. You will see as we progress here that it will be a lot slower as we continue, and eventually you are going to die. That is the whole premise of the game. You are going to die. Your whole objective is to stay alive as long as possible. A lot of people have compared this to bullet hells and said that it's a reverse bullet hell. That kinda makes sense, since you're the one throwing out all the bullets. I would say that it's more of a kind of horde mentality to it. So you're defending against all of these hordes and trying to stay alive. Simple as that. There is a few monsters that give you more experience when you kill them, for example, and this will simply be a little bit harder monsters that you might need to spend a little bit more time actually killing. There is also a few options where you might see a chest drop. There is different power-ups, you get extra coins from some monsters, and so on. The latest upgrade that we took was the bracers. It makes my magic missile travel a little bit faster. The one that we took before then is a little bit more interesting. It's called Santa's Water, and it is this blue thing that we see if we go to the... let me see. Just below me, right here, that is the Santa's Water. It is more or less a dot that is placed on the ground. So yeah, this really reminds me of old Java games and similar things that were played very, very often by me in my childhood, and it's really been a blast to the past to play something this simple, but still so enjoyable. I really have been enjoying it, I have to say. In general, a round is anywhere in between 5 and usually below half an hour. So it's a good chunk of gameplay, but it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. The game is still in early access, as I mentioned. So there is a quite limited amount of content at the moment, which really helps when the matches or the games are only about 30 minutes. You don't feel like you are doing the same thing for too long. Eventually you get to change up your character and you get to do the roguelike standard of going and trying something new again. So this bat, for example, you can see have a blue outline. That means that it's a bit of kind of a rare mob, I guess you would call it. So he will take a lot more to actually kill, and when I kill him I might actually get a chest, or I might get more experience than otherwise. So every time you level up you get multiple different options you can choose between. Usually it's 3, sometimes you get 4. It depends on something called luck. So within the game you can upgrade your luck through different power-ups and so on. I will go for Santa Water again. This will increase the amount of projectiles that the Santa Water will fire, and the base area will be 20% bigger. Most enemies, if not all of them, I do think all of them are actually following you continuously. So there is no kind of specific pathing for it. They're all just following you and going where you're going. You can see now that I have a big arrow in the top corner, or not corner, but at the top of the screen, just below the timer there. That indicates where I can find a chest. Chests will give you extra items that you can level up your character with. And yeah, once the actual items has been dropped on the floor, they will not despawn in any way. So you have plenty of time to actually go and pick it up whenever you feel like you have enough time for it. So here's one of the power-ups that gives me the option to, not the option, it will automatically make everyone around me freeze, and it then allows me to kill them a little bit easier. So I'm gonna pick up this chest, and we get these kind of reward chests. This is probably the most satisfying thing about this game. Opening chests is just so good. Listen to this. How hyped are you when you hear that? That is so dope. I love that. That is absolutely fantastic. So here we have another kind of higher level monster, or maybe a boss you want to call it, this guy in particular. These monsters will often give you those kind of chests, and every maybe 3 or 4 wave you usually get a boss. There is no indication of it other than you kind of learn eventually that these specific monsters are bosses. So you can see, for example, here I killed a bunch of monsters earlier, and now you can see that the floor is full of these blue crystals that will give you experience as you pick them up. So you don't get experience automatically just by killing the monsters. You need to actually go pick up the experience that is dropping as well. So this, of course, does a lot when it comes to how you are able to actually navigate the whole area. You need to make sure that you're not only killing monsters, but that you can actually go and pick up these crystals afterwards. So we have another treasure chest here. Enjoy. And as you can see, this time we get something different. So every time you open a chest, you will see a different thing available for you in that chest. Eventually you might also get something like a super chest that will give you massive upgrades It might upgrade a specific item to a different item. So, for example, our wand right now has a little delay to it. If we get the wand up to level 8 and its corresponding item to upgrade it, it will eventually, when we open one of those chests, it will actually give us another item. So the wand will more or less upgrade itself when we open a chest at that point. I will not spoil for you which kind of item that we need. I can tell you that usually there is 3 criteria that needs to be met for each item to be upgraded. So that's a little bit for those that are interested to maybe find their own way around the game. So right now I'm kind of stuck in between a lot of monsters, but it looks like we're fine. Yeah, you can see already now when we are 7 minutes into the game, there is a lot more enemies here all of a sudden. These kind of kilns that you see here, or these fireplaces, are the ones that can drop the power-ups. They can also drop items that will heal you, and so on. So those are kind of your loot chests, or what you want to call them. Otherwise, normal monsters only drop XP, so they will not drop any power-ups or any items or anything like that. They will only drop the actual experience that they're worth. And there we have another chest, but there's so much monsters around that chest that I can't really get to it at the moment. I kinda need to bunch everyone together and hope that I get some really good strikes with the Santa's water or with the electricity, these thunder strikes that we have. And now I think I can run into Snagit. And here we have another version of a chest. So here we will get 3 items. And again, you would imagine that this would be perfect for anything microtransaction related. I am glad to tell you though that there is no microtransactions in the game. As of today, at least, the game is still in early access. I really want to emphasize that. But as of today, there is no microtransactions at all. I really hope it stays that way. I don't think that there is a reason to include a bunch of microtransactions. I would be happy to pay for maybe a cool character or something, but anything that would impact the gameplay itself, I would not be cool with. But you never know, since it's an early access game, things can change. For me, I've been playing for about 12 hours now, maybe in between 10 and 12 hours, as I mentioned before, and I would say the game has been more than worth it to me at this point. Even if I right now decided that I'm not gonna play it anymore, 10 to 12 hours for, I think the game is maybe 339 euros on Steam or something similar. That's worth it to me. That's more than enough for me to be satisfied with the purchase. And we get another 3 slot chest, which is great. I can't get over this. This is so fun to open these chests. I'm usually not into gambling, and I know this isn't gambling, but it's so typical to microtransactions and loot bags that it's so kind of refreshing to see a game that does the same but doesn't try to swindle you from money doing it. Which is, yeah, it's just so good. And here we have another boss creature that we need to kill. You can see that we have these rings of flowers right here that are kind of encasing us. This happens every now and then, and depending on which kind of map you're having, it will kind of have different effects all the time. Here we go. Now our AoE damage here is going to pay off. You'll see. Then we have another upgrade for our wand. I wonder what level the wand is right now. Level 7? So next level we might be able to upgrade the wand. We will see. Okay, so I think we're getting to a point here where we are seeing that our damage again is slightly on the downside. So let's pick up this chest, see if we can get some upgrades. And of course, when we really need it, we just get one. These chests can of course be skipped. So if you don't want to watch them throughout the whole animation, you can always skip it and continue on your merry way. There is nothing stopping you from that. You will see that this recording is in a little bit of a weird aspect ratio. The reason for that is because the game is only running in, I think this resolution is 4:3, if I'm not mistaken. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure if there is any plans to include other resolutions in the future. I know recently they have included a option to have the game running full screen. This was not possible before, so that's good. And here we have the freezing functionality again, something that we are really thankful for at the moment, because we are really struggling for health, if nothing else. So let's see if we can clear this up a little bit and maybe get some more experience from over here somewhere. I could really use a upgraded weapon at this point. So there we go. That's the end of the game. It took us 14 minutes, more or less. We reached level 26. Something that I would like to see in this game, and that's not available at the moment, is a high score. I would love to be able to see a list either for my own high scores, or even better if they could kind of integrate it with Steam somehow, and you could compete together with everyone else that is playing on Steam, for example. That would be really fantastic, actually. A few other things is available. So we have the collection with all the items that is available. I will not go through them all because it's going to be a spoiler, but I think the icons won't be spoiling too much. You of course have achievements. These are also synced with Steam. And of course you have the kind of normal baseline power-ups available in all roguelites. Things like increased damage, armor, more health, recovery of health, so HP regen, duration of skills, projectile speeds, area damage, cooldown, and so on. So there is more or less the standard delivery of power-ups available as well. So I have to say, if you're really looking for something retro and maybe have some experience since before in roguelites and kind of arcade gaming, yeah, maybe you played something like Space Invaders or something when you were younger. This is sort of the same idea behind it. It's just a little bit different and with a little bit more of a modern take to it. But I really hope that you have enjoyed this little deviation from the old Railway Empire content that we usually post here. I will be back with another Railway Empire episode tomorrow, of course, and I really hope to see you there. If you would like to see some more of this kind of content, or even Vampire Survivors itself, maybe you want to see another run, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to provide for you. So thank you very much for watching, and of course, until next time, bye bye everyone.